future engineers, building the nation, contributing to the nation. Your role is very big, right? Today you heard about Elon Musk flying cars, right? Today you heard about many things: cryptocurrencies, blockchain technology, artificial intelligence, machine learning, blockchain, right? So many things. For everything to have a breakthrough technology to implement something, some policy or framework is very, very important. Government of India has brought National Education Policy 2020 in connection with the same to bring education with equity, making it to be accessible to all, for everybody, bringing reforms and quality of education at all levels of schooling. It may be a kindergarten, it may be a primary school, it may be a high school, bringing different reforms. Today we will be looking quickly at what is National Education Policy 2020, with a special focus on how it is useful for our engineering education. That's very, very important. Maybe different advantages, disadvantages, okay? Maybe different challenges exist while implementing the National Education Policy, right? But we have to understand what is its main goal, aim, and how the government wants to implement National Education Policy. How it is relevant to higher education institutions like BMSIT Institute of Technology and Management, which is very growing and having very good vision with respect to the education. How it is useful for us, we have to understand. So in that direction, quickly we will look at major transformational reforms in higher education. That's why our PPT focuses on higher education. More importantly, we understand higher education as the education which is after 10+2, right? For example, engineering, medical, any degree that you are pursuing. What focus is lost or not required to not done to a greater extent, how it has to be done with the people, experts. You might have heard about Dr. Kasturi Rangan sir, right? Who is the chairman of National Education Policy 2020, and many more eminent personalities from India and abroad involved in framing the National Education Policy. One in Karnataka person was Dr. N.K. Sridhar. So he has contributed immensely for the drafting of National Education Policy with the major goals of whatever is thought for improving the quality of education. So in that context, so this is the agenda, evolution of education policy. How education policy has been evolved. What was the first national education policy, and presently what education policy we have. What is the vision of national education policy? Problems faced by higher education institutions, HEIs. What are the problems being faced by the higher education institutions? Major reforms that we can bring with respect to the higher education. National education policy, key area of focus. National education policy, making it to happen. Is it possible to do in one single day, implementing all the policy matters of the national education policy? Not at all possible, right? So we have to bring reforms at various stages. There may be different challenges, different understanding is required, cooperation is required, collaboration is required from all the stakeholders of the education, right? Teachers, students, government, policy makers, right? And educationists, many more people has to contribute in making it to happen. So in that way, we have this agenda and evolution of education policy. So quickly we will look at the evolution of education policy. By looking at this slide, you can understand that 1948-49 we had first education commission, University Education Commission, just after the independence of India, right? 1947. After that, within 1 year, immediately the government has brought in what is known as University Education Commission in 1948-49, Secondary Education Commission in 1952-53, Education Commission 1964-66 under Dr. D.S. Bothari, National Policy on Education in 1968, 42nd Constitutional Amendments are made in 1976, National Policy on Education in 1986, NPA 1986 modified in 1992, TSR Subramanian Committee report in 2016, Dr. K. Kasturirangan Committee report 31st May 2019. So, with under the chairmanship of Dr. K. Kasturirangan Committee, a report has been submitted to the government on 31st May 2019. In 2020, 2020, the education policy NEP 2020 has been introduced by the government of India. Evolution of education policy, you have seen the education, different policies that we have seen from 1986 to 2020, right? Almost nearly 34 years, after 34 years, we got one more education policy, 2020. So here, the NEP vision, very important for any institution, for any company, for government. Vision is very important. Vision is foreseeing what will happen, what it should be, right? We say vision, right? Like goal, objectives, in that way. National education policy envisions an India-centered education system. Okay, India-centered education system. Friends, I would like to emphasize here that Indian knowledge system, IKS. So you are in the first semester, right? The present third semester students have studied a subject called Indian knowledge system. The Indian knowledge system, if you go to the Indian knowledge system subject, we as Indians, we feel very proud, right? Because there are many scientific inventions that have been done very long time. In your C programming, you will study about the Fibonacci series, right? Implementation of Fibonacci series. Long back in the Vedic era, the Rishi Pingala has invented Fibonacci series. Fibonacci series is recently invented, but that is called as Pingala series. How the series mainly, Fibonacci series mainly talks about the breeding of two pairs of rabbits. But the Pingala, Rishi Pingala has taken this very long back. The design of the natural design, you take the plant design, that means how leaves are organized. And you can find the sunflower, right? Sunflower, Suryakanti we will say. How the seeds are placed in the Suryakanti flower follows the Pingala series. Our own body organization structure follows the Pingala series. That way we have several inventions, maybe yoga, Ayurveda. If you go to Veda and Upanishad, many things can be derived. That means long back during the Vedic mathematics or during the Vedic period itself, people have invented many things. That gives you a kind of inspiration to us. We talk about today different aeroplane designs, right? We talk about the electrical vehicle designs. Almost all these designs you can find in the Vedic period, right? Vimanayana Shastra was implemented, was brought, designed, proposed. We are not sure about how actually they implemented it, but we have seen in Pushpaka Vimana and Ramayana. That means it gives a kind of inspiration to all of us to look at how well we were with respect to science and technology is concerned. Right? So Qutub Minar you have seen, right? The pillars available in the Qutub Minar. So it is there for hundreds of years without rusting. Right? That's how people have casted the iron so that it will not rust even for the atmospheric variation conditions. That type of derivations, that type of inspirations can be derived from the Indian knowledge system, right? It may be health, it may be engineering, it may be science, Jyotisha Shastra, Aryabhatta, you may be doing Aryabhatta, right? The zero invented by Aryabhatta, right? And not only astrology, astrology was depending upon how the sun, moon, and all other nine planet moves, right? What is an year? It was defined by Aryabhatta. What is an year? 365 days. Why it is 365 days? Why it is 365 days? 56 minutes, 57 seconds. That is contributed by Aryabhatta. Such many contributions are available. After that, there was some gap and many things have happened. You know the history and independence and 200 years what happened. Everything is known to you, right? Even otherwise, the India is very rich with respect to the culture, diversity, and knowledge. Most of the universities abroad is derived by the Indians. Buffalo University in US, for example, is driven by Indian professors. Anywhere, everywhere, Indians are there, contributing intellectually, contributing in all fields in the world. That's the inspiration to make the national education policy envision an India-centered. So it is not talking about any Hindu or Muslim or Christian. All are Indians. In that context, all are Indians. We have strong cultural background, science background, and all Indians can be motivated and can be given an opportunity to derive different sources of inspiration. Knowledge sources can be extended to everyone so that they apply the knowledge that they have gained, skills that they have adapted in their higher education and become a successful professional. So with that mind and confidence directed to transforming our nation sustainability into an equitable and vibrant knowledge system by providing high quality education to all. Equity is very, very important. Today we have seen different syllabus, right? Every college, every institution, every university, even in your schooling, will be having different syllabus. Rural area, urban area, semi-urban area, different divides are there. So certain people are getting very high quality education, whereas certain other people are not getting the quality education, especially rural area, right? What about tribes, right? At least rural area people are having lived in a village, maybe having less facilities. At least they are got from school. What about tribes, right? They will speak with their own language. They live with their own culture. They are deprived of many facilities. They are deprived of many educational opportunities. That's why providing equity, the word equity is used here, samanate, right? Samanate for everybody, and it should be vibrant knowledge society. Vibrant knowledge society. People are, you might have seen Lilavati Ganita Shastra, right? Algebra, very first algebra was introduced by Indians. Today we talk about Infosys, Honeywell, and different puzzles that you are supposed to solve. If you see the Lilavati Ganita Shastra, it is full of puzzles, algebra. Right? You can search during your free time how this is being written long back. Okay? So that is vibrant knowledge society. So we should be able to work with a holistic approach, with a multidisciplinary approach. In that way, we have to think of providing high quality education to all. This is just a vision of the national education policy that we have seen. Sequencing in higher education institution, vision to strategic planning, governance policies to implementation, academic plan to infrastructure, and quality assurance to accreditation, NIRF and QS ranking. It is not so easy to come at the last phase, quality assurance. Quality has to be brought. Today, the students are the primary stakeholders. They have to be given quality of education, right? It is the responsibility of higher education institution with a proper strategic plan for their vision and along with the government policies to implementation. Government also need to support at various phases and the academic plan to infrastructure. We talk about the national education policy, we talk about teaching in the native languages, right? Then there will be a major challenges, getting a competent teacher, getting a person who teaches the all English subjects, say in Kannada or in Tamil, right? So we say teaching and studying in mother tongue is more effective. German is doing that, Japan is doing that, China is doing that. But in India, we have different languages, right? It's very difficult for every language, for every native language, we need to have a textbook, we need to have the syllabus. People who are competent to teach in the mother tongue should be available. Like that, we'll be having various challenges. Therefore, the educational institution has to plan for implementation of national education policy. Of course, the government has to support in the various stages. That way, we can meet the quality of education to accreditation. You can see accreditation, National Board of Accreditation, right? Are you knowing that we are offering the programs which is accredited by National Board of Accreditation, NBA, New Delhi, NEP, right? National Accreditation Council, right? NEP, NBA, like these accreditations we have. What this accreditation gives to us, we set course outcomes, course goals. Student will be able to do this after studying this particular subject. Student will be able to acquire this skill, knowledge after completing the program. This is how he meets the industry expectation. All those things we plan. Okay. Also, NIRF ranking is there. What is NIRF ranking? Ranking frameworks. Before you take the admission, you talk about rankings, right? NIRF ranking, QS ranking. So this is NIRF ranking, national level ranking. QS ranking is international ranking. Okay? The ranking of universities. That's very, very important because we have more than 1,000 universities in India, right? So ranking is important.